my 5G on my Straight Talk service, which is owned by Verizon apparently now. But I wanted to come on here while I wait for my bus. I got about 17 minutes before it shows up. But I wanted to reply to basically what a lot of people have been saying from last night. Of course, as you know, over the weekend, one of the big wrestling news stories in the wider wrestling community and WC internet wrestling community was the social war of words, if you will, the social war of words and attack on from NY206. The social war of words and attack on JD from NY206 by Jade Cargill and many members of the women's AEW locker room and roster. And basically they tried to defend the fact that, JD didn't know what he was talking about. That, he should just leave well enough alone and stop being a mark. Stop trying to act like he knows what he's saying and doing and, reside in his mother's basement and all that. And, of course, this got under JD's skin. And like I said in a video that I did before work a couple days ago, he did not hold anything back. He did not hold anything back. He went straight forward and let them know how he felt. Let him know that no matter what they say or do, he's not going to say anything because, believe it or not, he has a foothold in the wrestling business, him and Jason Solomonster, because they are the play-by-play team a majority of the time for House of Glory Wrestling. And that one of the things he could take to heart and be proud of is that many of the wrestlers that contracted, not fully, but basically contracted on a monthly basis or whatever, or a bi-monthly basis, whenever they do events, he takes the appreciation and come to Jason and ask for their opinions, ask how they felt about the match, what they believe, these men and women could do to improve, and what basically JD and Jason would do differently. So he's proud of the fact that he has that under his belt. He is. He is proud of that fact. But the thing is, all he did, being JD, was give an honest opinion. He came out and said, look, I do not want to see this matchup. And the way he said it was, oh, please, dear God, no. And what happens? He basically feels that in a way, even though he didn't say it as much, he got set up. He got set up for a blatant attack by these women. From Jade Cargill to Rebel, from Ty Mello to Britt Baker, he basically felt like he was set up for this attack all because he gave an opinion. Well, just like a lot of these women came to Maria Shafir's defense and Jade Cargill's defense, as well, a lot of YouTubers came to JD's defense, including his co-host, or not co-host, but his co-color commentator at House of Glory, Solomonster. He came to his aid, and also Just Alex. Just Alex came to his aid as well, and Just Alex. You want to talk about somebody that basically didn't just, didn't just come to JD's defense, if you will, over what was said. But you talk about a guy that basically took the opportunity to say, look, as much as I want to fault, and he does, fault, Jade and Marina Shafir and all the other women for, starting this with JD, all because he had an opinion on not wanting to see a certain matchup. Basically, he took the opportunity to come out and finally address an issue that he has felt needed to be addressed for a while. And that is the booking of AEW as a whole. Now, he's not going to deny there is not any bright spots in AEW right now. There are. Storyline-wise and match-wise and everything, there are some bright spots. But it's the way certain things are booked that, is making him question, whether or not Tony Khan is wearing himself out too thin and will not do what's right and get himself a team. A team he could basically take the responsibility off his shoulders. But apparently he doesn't. He's not doing that. I mean, yeah, he's getting some teams together, but not the teams, that he needs. Like, he's getting some teams together behind the scenes and all that to help out and help out the men and women on the roster and help grow the company and all that. But he's not getting certain people in the positions like what Triple H is doing. You see, Triple H, he has a team together that reports to him with their ideas. And he's either going to give a yay or a nay or, okay, we'll see how it turns out and everything. And that's it. And if he likes it, he'll go with it. He'll give it a chance. If he doesn't like it, he'll say, let's scrap this, let's go this way. And his team will listen. His team will listen to him. Tony Khan's not doing that. Tony Khan basically is, like I said, he's putting certain teams together in certain areas, but not the teams that are necessary to where, you get good creative storytelling, you get good creative character development, and feuds, and matter and matches coming together that have reasoning, not just thrown together for the heck of it. And, just out all of that. He pointed out all of that. But I think the one issue, in my opinion, I've talked about this before. The one issue, in my opinion, as to why Tony Khan will not, address this issue himself, will not put the teams together that he needs to put together, like what Triple H is doing, to where these people present their ideas to him, and he's either cool with it, or he says, that sounds great, but let's do this, or that sounds great, but let's try this with it. He's not doing that. Instead, he's wearing himself thin. He's wearing himself thin by basically taking on the brunt of booking and writing the stuff himself. And why is he doing that? Why is he not doing what Triple H is doing? Allowing Triple H to give Tony Khan a dose of his own medicine, the kind of medicine that Tony Khan, basically doused. I wouldn't say doused, but what's the word I'm looking for? Basically Tony Khan kind of, I guess you could say fed into, basically, what's that word I'm looking for? He kind of initiated, basically. He provoked. That's the word I'm looking for. He provoked. Tony Khan's getting a taste of his own medicine because now Triple H, he's not holding any punches back. He's not holding any punches back. And he's basically saying, look, I'm going to put together a team that I know is going to, listen to me, and I will hear them out, and that together over time we're going to make ourselves, a great, not just for the WWE fans, but for wrestling fans and entertainment fans in general. And Tony Khan is getting a dose of the medicine, of that same medicine he dealt out. That was the word I was looking for. Dealt out to Triple H on NXT, and mostly Vince McMahon when Vince was running things. And apparently by getting a dose of his own medicine, basically getting karma thrown back in his face, he can't handle it. He can't handle it, and now he's trying to basically prove a point. And that point, as I've talked about before, is what everybody has finally called him out for being. And that's a fan, a super fan. And that what he's trying to do, in my opinion, by not making the right decisions, by not getting a team together that he needs to get together, for his own benefit, for his own sanity, if you will, And the benefit and future of AEW and Ring of Honor as a whole, if you will. The reason he's not doing what Triple H is doing, which is allowing WWE to have, a reinvigoration of, supremacy, a reinvigoration of being the place you want to be at. And finally, once again, giving back that creative freedom and independence to the talent that you said that you basically would lie that they have, but didn't, and now they're finally getting it like they should have in the first place. The reason Tony Khan is not doing anything that Triple H is not doing right now, that's again making WWE be once again the place to be, is because Tony Khan, and I've mentioned it before, is trying to prove that actual wrestling fans could do a better job at running a wrestling promotion than people that have had years of experience in the business. Whether they've been in the ring, for multiple decades competing and learning behind the scenes and stuff like Triple H, or they've grown up in the business because their father, originally owned the that evolved into what is now known as WWE, and that, of course, being the case of a Vince McMahon. I mean, despite how you feel about a Vince McMahon in his heyday, let's look at it this way. Vince McMahon in his heyday, in his prime, if you will, we're talking, I'd say along the lines, Federation, bits of New Generation, but mostly Attitude Era Vince. This Vince McMahon, and even parts of Ruthless Aggression Vince, this Vince McMahon, I'll put it this way, from, I would say, 85 to around maybe 2002, if you will, 2003, whatever the case is, I'll say this, that Vince McMahon would basically humiliate Tony Khan, just like he humiliated Eric Bischoff in WCW. He would put them out to pasture. Tony Khan would not be able to stand a chance against that Vince McMahon of 85 to basically 2005. He wouldn't be able to beat him. He'd get his ass kicked from pillar to post. And he knows it. He would know it. I mean, Eric Bischoff knew it. Hey, the moment they brought in Mike Tyson, oh shit, we're screwed. He knew it. All it takes is that one moment. And this year, that one moment that it's taken for Tony Khan to be thrown off his pedestal, his throne, if you will, not just happened once, but happened twice. It happened, the first time it happened this year, Cody Rhodes went back to WWE and went back as we saw him in AEW. Same entrance, same theme music, same presentation, you name it. And then the second time he was thrown off his pedestal was when Triple H took over, because Vince McMahon had to retire. He had to step down amidst all the controversy he was going through. And to further cement that, a spokesperson talking to those at Fightful and Wrestling Inc. and everything have confirmed that Vince is done. He is not coming back. No matter what Tony Khan or others may think, he is not coming back. He is history. So if Tony Khan thinks he can still get away with this BS that everybody's calling him out for now in the past 24 hours, because what? He believes Vince is still running things? The guy's out of his damn mind. He's out of his damn mind. And what he's going to do in the end, but not doing what's right, is he's going to hurt his company, he's going to hurt Ring of Honor, and he's going to basically, by extension, hurt any of the partners internationally or otherwise that he has. Because he's not waking up and realizing that, yeah, it's one thing to be a super fan against a delusional, senile, 70-plus, near 80-year-old Vince McMahon that still thinks it's the golden age and still thinks what he likes others will like, and they don't, because he doesn't realize times have changed. Tony Khan has to realize that things have changed, because now he's up against somebody that's going to want to take his head off Not just because of what he did to him on Wednesday nights. Not just because of what he did to him on Wednesday nights in the past. In the past, if you will. But mostly because of the fact that Triple H wants to bring the WWE back to Providence. You know, he wants to bring it back to Providence. And Tony Khan needs to wake up and realize that if he's going to have any chance at keeping AEW relevant, if he's going to have any chance of getting a TV deal that he wants to get, he needs to wake up and stop acting like a super fan. That is what's hurting him. Because like I said, it's one thing to be a super fan and compete against somebody that still thinks, you know, what worked in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s and all that, you know, on occasions would still work today because he likes it, he believes others will like it. You know, it's one thing to go up against that person and basically prove, hey, see, I know what the fans want because I'm a fan myself and I'm proving I can do a better job than you. That's one thing. That's one thing to try to prove that. But it's another when you're trying to keep that same mindset going, but now you're going up against somebody that's going to basically want to rip your head off to not only take away your audience, take away your hype, take away your momentum, like you took away theirs, but if he could also potentially take away your talent, you know, you're not going to be able to play that same kind of game against somebody that's nicknamed the game that basically is out for domination in wrestling, period. So Tony Khan, there is no doubt in my mind, he has to wake up. He has to realize that things have changed. Things are not as they used to be. And if he doesn't, then whatever TV deal he gets next year, if he does get a TV deal for Ring of Honor and AEW, it won't be the kind of deal he's hoping for because word's going to get out that the ratings are down, viewership is down, attendance is down, all because Tony Khan won't do what's right and get a team to take the responsibility of writing and booking the show creatively off his shoulders. All because he wants to prove that a fan could do a better job than somebody that's been in the business for years. And as I've said before, and others will agree, and if just Alex and JD watch this, they would agree that when we as fans come out and say, hey, we could do a better job booking a show than so-and-so, we're not literally saying, give us the book and let us do it. No, we're expressing ourselves. We are venting how we feel. That's what it is. There's a difference between doing it and expressing and venting your frustrations. That's all we're doing. That's all just Alex ever did when he got sick and tired of Vince's screwiness and stupidity, you know, when it came to booking. Same with JD, same with Solomon, the OTRS Central, you name it. They would say this not because they're saying, hey, literally give us the book, we'll show you how it's done. No, they were expressing themselves. They were venting their frustration. You know, and they didn't question decisions either sometimes. I mean, yeah, Vince would make some decisions that were stupid, but some he didn't. Same with Triple H. Decisions that are questionable, but most times, you know, they're cool. You know, nobody's ever questioned them as to why you hired a certain individual, a certain slapnuts, a certain, you know, my world individual that has a mixed reaction from the fans, and, you know, as your business director. You know, they never did. Hold on for a sec. Like I said, you know, they never questioned, you know, his decisions to put somebody like Jeff Jarrett in charge of business directive. You know, because again, you know, what good did that do Dixie Carter? You know what I'm saying? You know, what good did that do her? The point that I'm getting at is Tony Khan has to wake up. He has to start getting people together. He has to start some position gentlemen, the future of AEW is not going to look good. It won't matter how long you sign people to extensions contractual wise. If your company doesn't, redeem itself, doesn't build itself back up after this, then you won't last as long. And this company and the other company has Ring of Honor won't last as long as these contracts they've extended for the likes of Moxley and Jericho. Because honestly, these contracts, they'll still be in existence, but AEW and Ring of Honor won't be if Tony Khan doesn't wake up and start doing the right thing. And that's a fact. That's a fact. But it's up to Tony. It's up to Tony and somebody close to him to make him realize that. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Comment below. Thank you for joining me in the live chat. And until then guys, again, I'm going to get this off my chest. But like I said, nobody's letting Tony off the hook after last night. After the booking of AEW last night. They're not letting him off the hook. Because now it's time for him to wake up and realize you can't keep doing this anymore. You can't keep booking, this kind of style. Because Vince ain't running things no more. Triple H running things. And hopefully, somebody gets through to Tony Khan that, it's time to change plans and, go with a new strategy. And at Full Gear, honestly, and just before Dishonor, those two individual pay-per-views for AEW and Ring of Honor, those that ought to act as reset buttons, reboot buttons for Tony Khan and his two companies, because if they're not treated as such, again, it don't matter how long you sign someone to an extension contractual wise, those contracts, will be worth nothing if they still exist, but the companies they're attached to don't. You know what I mean? But let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Thank you for joining me live, and until then, I will talk to y'all later.